In the past, in a little town, John and Sarah appeared to be a content couple. They enjoyed laughter, aspirations, and the comfort of friendship. Unbeknownst to them, a storm was gathering, prepared to devastate their planet. On a significant night, an invite to a gathering initiated a sequence of occurrences that would permanently alter their lives. The gathering, arranged by a common acquaintance, brought happiness to the guests, but a foreboding atmosphere affected John and Sarah. Since John was busy with work, Sarah decided to go to the party by herself, which ended up having a significant impact. Unknown to John, the night would turn into a web of lies, betrayal, and eventually sadness. While Sarah socialized with friends, she felt a connection with a former acquaintance, Jan. Unknown to John, Jan had affections for Sarah, and his presence at the party created some tension in the environment. During the course of the evening, Sarah and Jan engaged in a number of playful conversations that ultimately led to a heartbreaking event, affecting multiple individuals deeply. Unknown to John, a dark turn of events awaited them. Deep into the night, the gathering took an unforeseen twist. Sarah, influenced by drink and the appeal of adventure, made a decision that would have a significant impact on their relationship. During a vulnerable moment, she made the decision to betray her partner. However, destiny had an unfortunate turn of events in store for Sarah. Jen, in whom she had placed her trust, exhibited a negative aspect. As the night became more ominous, Sarah found herself confronting a terrifying situation that she couldn't manage. Unknown to John, the distinction between betrayal and tragedy had become unclear. The aftermath of that evening was a flurry of feelings. John, without knowledge of Sarah's infidelity, received a phone call that would alter everything. Sarah, a target of a terrible crime, had a hard time finding comfort after being betrayed. As the reality gradually became clear, John struggled with contradictory feelings. The person he cared for had been attacked, but the basis of trust had already been weakened. Unknown to each of them, their lives had been intertwined in a complex network of falsehoods, deceit, and sorrow. Under the bright sunlight, John had a difficult choice. Should he support Sarah, the victim of a crime, or would the damaged trust be too difficult to repair? After the lasting impact of that significant night, they each began individual paths towards recovery and self-exploration. Unbeknownst to them, the events of that night would always remain deeply ingrained in their hearts, serving as a powerful symbol of lost love and the strength needed to go forward. After the distressing night, John struggled with a variety of emotions. He received guidance and encouragement from friends, caught between feeling sorry for Sarah's difficult experience and the sense of betrayal that remained in the background. Unknown to him, Sarah was struggling with her own internal conflicts, burdened by guilt, humiliation, and the haunting memories of that terrible night. During the court proceedings, Jen experienced the outcomes of his acts. The disclosure of his predatory conduct caused a strong reaction within their community, leading others to share similar accounts. Unknown to John, Sarah discovered strength in unity with these survivors, becoming a spokesperson against the negativity that existed in the corners of their seemingly perfect town. Regardless of their separate paths towards recovery, the gap between John and Sarah grew wider. The delicate bonds of trust that had connected them were strained to their maximum extent. Unknown to both of them, the wounds from that night were not just on Sarah's body, but also on the foundation of their love. Over time, John developed a strong support for survivors, using his sorrow as a catalyst for positive transformation. His process of rehabilitation became a symbol of optimism for others who had gone through the traumas of assault. Unknown to him, this new purpose became a lifeline, rescuing him from the depths of despair. Sarah, however, found comfort in therapy and support groups. The discovery of her infidelity, along with the distress of the attack, compelled her to face her personal struggles. Unknown to John, she began a quest to understand herself better, with a strong determination to start again and seek forgiveness. Over time, John and Sarah went their separate ways. Unknown to both of them, destiny had alternative intentions. John discovered love once more, a connection founded on trust, communication, and mutual healing. Sarah also found the inner power to reconstruct her life with greater strength. The narrative, previously caught in a web of sorrow and deceit, arrived at a moment of conclusion. Unknown to John and Sarah, the the marks from that evening became evidence of their fortitude and the ability to bounce back. The town also went through a change, discovering how to face the harsh truths that were hidden beneath its peaceful appearance. Ultimately, John and Sarah's tale became a touching section in the shared account of endurance, transformation, and the resolute nature of humanity. Unknown to them, the reverberations of that significant night prompted others to take action, encouraging discussions about violence, unfaithfulness, and the intricacies of human relationships. John and Sarah's lives went on different paths, each touched by the reminders of their shared history. Unknown to them, the sounds of that important night echoed across time, affecting not just their own paths but also the community nearby. As he took on his new job as an advocate, John played a significant role in promoting local efforts to increase awareness about sexual assault. Without his knowledge, he appeared at events, recounted his experience, and offered support to others, transforming his anguish into a catalyst for change. His conduct motivated others to speak up, causing a chain reaction of empowerment and recovery. Sarah also discovered her voice after experiencing trauma. Unknown to John, she committed herself to educating people about the intricacies of consent, the consequences of drug-facilitated assault, and the significance of supporting survivors. Her path to redemption served as evidence of the ability of humans to develop and bounce back. Over time, John and Sarah occasionally crossed paths in the community they used to live in. Without their knowledge, such meetings were instances of quiet recognition, an acknowledgement of the common past that connected them, but also an understanding that their separate journeys had permanently separated. John, now a prominent figure in the battle against sexual violence, discovered love once more. Unknown to him, his previous experiences became a source of power rather than a burden in his new connection. His partner respected his determination and dedication to create a positive impact, recognizing the intricacies that influenced him. Sarah also created a new life for herself. Without John's knowledge, she dedicated herself to self-improvement, repairing what was broken, and building relationships founded on sincerity and reliability. She reached a point in her journey where she accepted herself, and the negative feelings of guilt and shame slowly transformed into strength and confidence. As the community continued to deal with the consequences of that important night, alterations took place. Without John and Sarah's knowledge, the discussion around sexual assault became more inclusive, and resources for survivors got more robust. Their narrative, formerly a sorrowful account of disloyalty, served as a driving force for beneficial change. Ultimately, John and Sarah unintentionally played a part in a story of strength, recovery, and societal transformation. The wounds they bore, both apparent and concealed, transformed into emblems of resilience instead of memories of suffering. The town also changed, adapting to face the difficult truths within its boundaries and striving to build a safer, more caring community. And thus, the narrative unraveled, characterized by the unwavering capacity of the human spirit to emerge from the aftermath of distress and create a fresh direction towards recovery and optimism. Without John and Sarah's knowledge, their connected history became a driving force for a future characterized by progress, transformation, and the lasting strength of the human spirit. Time went by, and John and Sarah's lives carried on independently, but in a similar direction, influenced by the common experience that had previously characterized them. Without their knowledge, they dealt with the challenges of recovery, both seeking comfort from others who empathized with their suffering without completely comprehending its source. John's efforts to promote a cause had developed into a movement that spanned throughout the country. Unknown to him, he became a symbol of hope for survivors everywhere, demonstrating that healing was achievable even in the midst of indescribable despair. His actions prompted modifications in laws, resulting in harsher punishments for wrongdoers and improved assistance networks for victims. Sarah, however, had silently directed her experiences towards creative pursuits. Unknown to John, she had become a strong presence in the art world, leveraging her suffering to create meaningful works that conveyed the strength of the human spirit. Her work went beyond the personal, connecting with audiences worldwide and giving a voice to people who had been silenced. By a surprising turn of events, John and Sarah ended up attending the identical national conference on sexual assault awareness. Without their knowledge, the event that had brought them together had now become the platform for their own victories against challenges. While standing on different sides of the stage and speaking to the audience, they silently acknowledged one another, recognizing the common past that had influenced their futures. While conversing, the room sensed the gravity of their remarks. Unknown to John and Sarah, their experiences came together in a strong story of survival, perseverance, and the transformational power of tragedy. Participants listened not just to the speakers on stage, but to the reverberations of a common history that had influenced the path of two individuals. Following the session, John and Sarah discovered that they were both in the hotel lobby. Unknown to them, the atmosphere was filled with a combination of tension, forgiveness, and unexpressed comprehension. A moment happened, frozen in time, when they made eye contact. Without saying anything, they nodded, a quiet recognition of the journey they had each walked. They went their separate ways again, but this time they both understood the unyielding nature of the human spirit. Unknown to John and Sarah, they brought the teachings of their shared history into the futures they had created. The wounds still existed, tangible reminders of the grief they had experienced, but now they carried them with a newfound strength and endurance. Over the years, John and Sarah continued to have an impact in their individual areas of expertise. Unknown to them, these experiences became sources of encouragement for others who endured the challenging route of rehabilitation. The impact of their experiences reached much beyond than they could have anticipated. And thus, the fabric of life intertwined John and Sarah, two people permanently linked by a night of deceit and a mutual dedication to transforming misfortune into success. Without their knowledge, their stories became evidence of the ability to bounce back from difficult situations, the potential for personal development in the midst of challenges, and the lasting optimism that emerges from the human ability to overcome even the most difficult times.